What's up, everyone?
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
we. Why did you say it like that?
Hi.
It's really fucking creepy. Especially when we touch base on that a little later, because you did
Oh,
that voice,
Yeah.
and
yeah, I did
it
do a
was it
voice.
was weird. Hey, what's up, Stacy?
Hey,
Glad
what's
you could
going
Hey.
on?
join us. Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but today's like the first day that I actually feel like a normal human again.
Yes, I agree. I was tired beyond tired. I don't even know if there's a word for how tired I was.
We got Brittany here. We got Mike the Man Simpson.
Hey,
What
Mike.
is
Hey,
up?
what's up?
Um,
Brittany.
yeah, I mean, for those that didn't know, we did a little thing this last weekend. Um,
Sure did.
I mean, it was pretty small. It wasn't that big of a thing.
You may or may not have heard about it.
It wasn't
It
a lot of
wasn't
work
like
or
I fell
anything.
off the face of the earth for 6 months working on pre-production stuff, and we didn't have like tons of people watching for like 7 hours.
Yeah,
Um,
7.5.
7.5. At that point, who's counting after 5?
Yeah.
Right.
But we're talking about Boys versus Girls, the paranormal challenge with Get Haunted and Paranormally Blonde, and holy shit, was that an amazing night?
It was. It was like you said, 7 hours. It really didn't feel that long, but when we finally wrapped it up, I was like, oh my god, we started this at what 7?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But tonight's thing, hey, daydreaming. Tonight's thing is not a recap of the event. If you want to see a recap of the event, tune in Monday to Paranormally Blonde, where you will see these three smiling faces and the others who also were there. Um,
Marianne.
hey, Marianne. Um, but it was an amazing night. I do have one clip of the night that I'm going to show because I have a feeling that it's going to get lost somewhere
Lost in the
and
sauce.
lost in the sauce. And I just feel like I tried really hard to make this happen, and all my dreams came true. All the hard work was just for this moment.
Jesus Christ! You're an asshole, Kris.
I had to put a slow mo one in there
I
too.
was going to say, I hope you play it again.
I really want to put his scream to a song beat somehow.
Yeah.
So that's in the works.
Do like a remix?
Yes. Yeah, I feel
Or make
like
it a ringtone?
Oh, that should be my ringtone for when he calls me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The enjoyment that you can hear in your laugh. It's like the most belly deep laugh that Kris has at that. It's
And he's supposed to be in character. Your character's not supposed to laugh.
When something that good happens, sometimes you just can't hold it together and you do break character just a little bit. Yeah, that was an amazing highlight. And if you want to see more of those, I just gotta put that up there real quick. Yes, that was epic. It just feeds my ego a little more.
So was like, I don't know, eating a tarantula and a scorpion. That was pretty epic too, Mike.
So if you want to hear more of these stories, tune into Paranormally Blonde on Monday and we'll talk about that. But tonight we're here to talk about what we do, the road trip, right?
trip.
Yep.
The road trip was.
It was. We'll say
Long.
that it was.
The road trip was long. Hey Andy,
Long.
what's up?
Hey,
Thanks
Andy.
for joining us. This was I got blessed with getting Boston for a couple of days, for a day before and a day after.
Oh, blessed.
Yeah, it was blessed. Is blessed the right word?
Yeah, it's not. I was that was sarcastic tone. But yeah, I had Boston around before or after. So she flew into Michigan, uh came to hang out the night before, and then we hit the road at like what was it, like 6?
6.
We were on time.
Yeah,
Be-
I was
Yeah.
surprised. I'm
And you
not
were
gonna lie.
yelling at me too, and I was like, "Excuse me, I got the memo that we were leaving at 6. It was like 5:45." You were like, "Hurry up, Kyle's waiting."
because
And
we
I'm
had
like, "Not my fault. Kyle got there early."
because we had to pack. I mean, you got to
Oh, yeah.
remember packing counts to turn the ignition on the car and back up out onto the driveway right at 6. But we did it nonetheless.
We did.
And I was impressed. I had it planned that we were doing at least 14 stops for Boston along the way.
13 of them were Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
Oh,
Can we
God.
talk about the Dunkin' Donuts?
We could do a whole show just on Dunkin' Donuts and how I'm never going to Ohio again.
What's up,
I
Bridgewater
enjoyed
Paranormal?
Hey,
as we progressed through the trip, the Dunkin' Donuts, they got spread out and the quality seemed to go down a little bit, right? Right, Boston? Like there was one time I think you got iced tea instead of actual iced coffee.
the
That
only good Dunkin' Donuts was in Michigan, but we didn't. Did we stop there?
Yeah, we stopped on the way out. And remember, you were amazed that Dunkin' Donuts had ice cream in it, remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, I just got possessed.
See?
Yeah.
She got
Eat that
that's
ice
how
cream.
excited she got people when we walked into this Dunkin' Donuts at 6:00 in the morning
Yeah.
and there was ice cream.
Yes. Can we? There we go. Thank you. Truth.
I think that was a benefit for the trip that the Dunkin' Donuts got worse and worse the farther south we got because Boston quit asking
Yes.
more and more.
It did make out really great for us. At least
She just in turn just got crabby. And we had one stop, and I got a video from the one stop that we made. This was after we stopped at Dunk's.
Oh no, Boston, what happened? Are the doors locked or something? Oh, no, so close. Oh, damn it. It's getting better.
Yeah, she had some serious trouble with that door the whole trip. I don't know what it was.
I know,
Yeah,
I couldn't figure it out for the life
I was just
of
gonna
it.
say, if you guys only knew how many times that happened and was not caught on film. Also, if any Dunkin' Donuts connoisseurs here, I know the Bridgewater Triangle is one for sure. Dunkin' Random Ass has. Oh, so you need to go to Random. But if you notice the iced coffee in my hand, that was supposed to be one skim milk. One skim milk, no sugar. Did you see how it was like cream?
It was like milk almost.
And then that one Dunkin' Donut. Thank you, Lori. There's a sympathetic. See, because then Lori got stuck in a house for 3 days with these two. And Mike. I mean, everyone had to get stuck in a house with these two. So Lori knows. Like, can you imagine if you got stuck in a car with them, Lori? It was bad.
All I know is I never had a problem getting in the vehicle. I don't know.
I didn't either. And there was twice that happened.
Yeah.
We'll have to show the other video on a YouTube short. But there was another time where I actually just got tired of Boston fooling around and I drove away.
I was going to say, you drove away. I thought you got that one on film.
We did.
We had a
We
schedule to keep.
Oh, there's nothing scary. Oh, yeah, there might be something scary for you later. But hi, Shift. Right now, it's just the scariest thing is the Dunkin' Donuts in Ohio and West Virginia.
Yeah.
I don't think we stopped in West Virginia for Dunks. There was one Dunkin'
I don't
Donuts,
think
you
there was
guys.
a Dunk's in West
They
Virginia.
didn't have they didn't have ice. They didn't have food.
They
They
did
were open
have.
until 9, and we got there at like 6 at night, and they were open until 9
They
p.m.
did have soda.
They didn't have soda. They didn't have skim milk.
Well,
They had nothing.
truth to be told here, me and Chris made a call beforehand. We said, listen, just don't have
Pretend
anything
you don't have anything.
when this lady comes in.
Yeah.
No ice, no coffee, no donuts, nothing.
Clear your cases out. Clear your baskets out. Hide it all. We're going to be there in 5. And they did.
It worked out well.
It did. and that was on our way to Bihl Manor.
Down there.
No,
Oh.
that was right
Oh, that
before
one
we
was
got
on the
to
way to
Bihl
Bihl
Manor.
Manor, yeah.
So, do we got anything else to talk about on the actual road itself?
The road itself. Well, the
Did
dance,
you-
the amazing
Oh.
dancing. I don't
Yeah.
know if anyone saw our TikTok.
Yeah, go to our TikTok page at Haunted Road Trip and check us out. Give us a follow. We're growing pretty quick. Somehow we can grow on TikTok, but we can't grow on YouTube.
I don't know what it is.
I know
Involve
what
us
it is.
over on TikTok.
I know what it is. People can only handle a minute of us at a time.
Maybe it's a minute of me. Maybe I should just let you guys do a show one week and see if we take off.
Oh, no, there's an idea.
I think it would skyrocket. I do.
They were trying to get me to have a panic attack before this started. It was very calculated.
I don't think we had anything to do with that. We may have not helped.
Yeah.
We may have not helped, but we weren't the cause.
Yeah.
So the road trip, we played some fun games.
We did.
We did a question game and all that. Duncan, was the whole line of iced coffee, jelly beans? Yes.
Somebody buy me those.
Yeah, the road trip was pretty. Besides the Dunkin'
It
trip,
was fun, and we had some good music.
Able to operate a simple car door. I don't know what happened with that. It was pretty straightforward of a trip.
We had some. We listened to, I think, 2 full albums of The Offspring without even asking Kyle if he liked The Offspring.
That's true. I do remember that now.
How about
of course, the moment we entered West Virginia, what did we play?
Country Road, and I get why it says "Take Me Home."
Yes,
because I was ready to turn around and go home.
Don't say that. West Virginia was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
It was absolutely beautiful, especially Williamson. Like the people there were so nice.
Oh yeah, no, that area, but the state. I mean, like I like Cedar Point in Ohio. You know, I'll go there, but
so bad.
But Ohio is, you know, it's a void. It's a void that never ends.
I feel bad now. I'm like thinking of all my friends that, hey, Empty Casket Paranormal.
Oh, what's up?
No apologies.
So then we went to Bihl Manor. Now, Bihl Manor is, I believe it's newer to the paranormal world. Like it's not a very what is the word that I'm looking for?
Established, per se.
Yeah. Place. Amazing house. This is the second time I got to visit. Boston and Kyle had never been there before. And we were like, hey, we got to stop in here. What's up, pretty paranormal? And it didn't disappoint.
No.
I think I would have felt better if we were more awake.
True.
And not been, because that did hinder our investigation. We had plans. Oh, we were so gung-ho. We were showing up. We're like, we're filming an episode. We're going to go live. We're going to do all this stuff. And then we get there and we're like, who's going to be the first to go to bed? Because that just started chain reaction, so we can all just go to bed.
And the answer is Kyle. While doing an EVP session.
True. I'm not going to lie. I did get a little too comfortable and I almost nodded off. But I'm not going to lie. For my first time walking into kind of a location that's not, I wouldn't say it's unknown, but up and coming in the paranormal community, I was very, very impressed with that place. I mean, we had right off the hop, we had huge amounts of like visual stuff. Like we were sitting there with Carlo, the owner. He was going over the history, and me and Boston both saw what I saw. Like it looked like a little kid peeking out of the bathroom door,
kind of like crouched down, like on their knees or something like that, because it was really low. Across 2 rooms in the bathroom door.
Yeah, and like I didn't say anything to Boston at the time because I was just looking at it, and like I normally do on investigations, trying to figure out what I'm looking at. Am I seeing something? Let me try to debunk this, and I really couldn't. And then it was funny because after we did the walkthrough with Carlo, it was like, did you see that? And we both kind of described the same thing without even knowing. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm. That was just the first one, was seeing us seeing that. I don't know if Kris was seeing that, or so we sit. When you get there, Carlo takes you into the living room and plays a video, a really well put together video, kind of presentation about the history of the house and all that. So we were watching that, and I just kind of kept going like that, and I didn't want to say anything, and because he's standing right there, and these two are watching the video, so I didn't want to stop and be like, "Oh, do you see that?" But yeah, what we described afterwards was exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I saw
that
nothing.
Was interesting.
I saw nothing. I was focused on the video. Now, after Carlo left, though, Kyle, I believe it was me and you where we heard a scream or a yell.
Yeah, so I think...
Where was Boston? Bathroom?
Was I in the bathroom?
Actually in the bathroom, and I think there was a moment where we both were like, is that a ghost or is that Boston in the bathroom? We didn't know.
You were outside. You were outside on the front porch.
Oh, that's right.
Getting stuff out of the car.
That's right.
Because I opened up the door and I said, "Were you just screaming?" And you were like, "No, I was watching something on TikTok."
Oh yeah.
And didn't we heard a kid's laugh too, right?
Yeah.
When she was outside too. Both stopped and sounded like it came from the upstairs. So I mean, and that was within 5-10 minutes of being there after Carla left. So
I mean, the biggest one, I want to go in order here, but the biggest one is something that Kyle and I experienced. So I don't know if we want to talk about that right away.
Well, I think we can. So we went after we got there, we got situated, we had those few experiences, we decided where are we going to start first. And we headed to the second floor, and that's where the most activity is known to happen. And when we were on the second floor, we really weren't getting much at first. We weren't getting light ups. We had not done any EVP sessions yet. We were trying to get the cat balls to go. We were trying to get the tripwire to go, the REM pod, and we weren't getting anything.
The EMF was the K2 was going, and I believe you kept seeing, thought you were seeing stuff down that glass hallway.
Mm-hmm. But I can't confirm it. It was dark. My eyes could have been playing tricks on me. And then we got a phone call that the food we ordered had arrived. At which point we all three went downstairs together, and I turned and went to the bathroom. I guess you guys didn't see me go in there, correct?
No. And it's weird enough that I didn't even see where you went. I thought you just came down with us. I just assumed you were right there with us.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I walked. I was a foot or two behind you guys walking down the stairs.
I thought, because of what happened next, I thought you had stayed upstairs, like you were trying to grab some equipment or something, or had to go back upstairs. Because what happened was Kyle and I went into the dining room to grab my wallet so I could pay the delivery guy. And we hear, "Ah!" And it sounded just like Kris. And in my head, it wasn't like a scare. It was like he dropped something or maybe got jump scared or startled. And so I wasn't worried about him or anything. And we both walk out into the foyer, and I yell up, "Kris," loud, pretty loud, nothing. Then you yell his name.
Yeah,
no response.
It sounded like what I heard what Boston described. And then we heard remember that big bang.
Right.
So then I thought Kris dropped something upstairs, and then I heard him, what I thought was Kris, I heard someone cough. Yeah. And I thought, oh, it's Kris upstairs. And then at that point, I was like, all right, let me go check on him.
Because at first, we just yelled up, and he didn't respond, and I was like, whatever. And then we heard the big bang, and I was going out to get the food, and I said, can you go check on him? Because I got nervous. And then, the good friend that I am, I opened the front door, and you were halfway up the stairs at that point, and I opened the front door and see the stack of takeout boxes that the delivery guy had, and said, actually, come here now.
Yeah, don't worry about Kris. He'll be fine. Help me carry the styrofoam takeout boxes.
Yeah. So then we go back inside, and Kris comes walking in from the other room, not from down the stairs, and we both had that
I for sure,
yeah.
it sounded to me, I had no doubt in my mind that Kris was upstairs.
Mhm.
I don't know what he ran up to get. He dropped something and like coughed. It sounded just like you. I was for sure you were up there, and then you came around the corner, and I'm like, well, who the hell's upstairs?
Yeah. And the weird thing is like I was in the bathroom not long. You guys said it was a while. I mean, literally, I took a piss and turned around, and I never once heard any calling of my name.
And we
Yeah,
were
and then
quiet.
we tested
Which
it.
makes me think you guys didn't try very hard.
No,
we
we
were.
did.
And
And then we tested it. Remember you?
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
when you
and I
realized what
did
happened, you went
hear
back to the
it
bathroom.
the second time when I went in there and you guys said you were talking as loud as you were. I heard it loud and clear.
I mean, it was so, Kris, whatever dropped up there, I thought you like picked up all the equipment and just dropped it. That's how loud it was. And
I thought it was a REM pod, something.
Yeah,
sorry.
something heavy, because it has up on the second floor, it has really thick carpeting. So it's, you really need to drop something. Like, it was, that really, like, that was one of those things that I was like, okay, what is going on? Because that doesn't happen much. Like, I for sure thought you were up there without a shadow of a doubt. Somebody could came in the house and said, it's Kris upstairs. I would have been like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we enjoy our food. It was a great
literally every appetizer on the
smorgasbord
menu.
of every appetizer.
Shout out to the Depot in Fremont, Ohio.
And then we went and did some EVPs.
We did.
And we caught something.
We sure did.
So let's play it. So I have one that is the section of catching it, the EVPs at the very end before it cuts off, and then it will go twice, one with no noise and one amplified to help people hear. So after the second one, headphone warning. But let me play this, and then we can just play the shorter part afterwards.
Who did I hear up here earlier? I thought it was Kris, but it wasn't him. Who was that?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
So I feel like there's a debate on the name. I can hear two different names. I can hear either Henry or Harry.
I initially, when we replayed it, we listened to a live playback. I had a little speaker. To me, I initially heard Harry. But
well, I was the one who caught it, I think, right?
Yeah,
not
you did.
to like, but I was the one who said, well, wait, and then we rewound, and I said, I think I heard hear me or Harry. And then when we listened to it again, someone heard hurry.
Harry or Henry.
And it's a shame, too, because I had to cut it right off because in the recording, I immediately asked another question, right, as he answered. So that's why it's so short.
Let's play it again. Just the audio of the EVP. What do you guys in chat think it says?
I'm going with my gut and what Boston heard initially. Harry.
Harry?
With 85% confidence.
So I wrote to Carlo and asked, has anybody in the past heard the name Henry or Harry? And he said that he has never heard that name yet in the house. However, again, this is newer on the map. He hasn't been shared a whole lot of stuff, evidence. Yeah. But now he's going to get that. That guy is leaning towards Hurry.
I don't know how to explain it, but I felt like it was a name instantly. And then I was like, or maybe it's hear me.
Well, looks like
But
the audience is leaning towards Henry.
We're all hearing Henry.
Mhm.
Interesting. Thank you. That is all. I mean, so it was Kyle's. You've got like your EVP recorder is amazing. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was solid. I was scared during Boys versus Girls that Rob threw his EVP recorder. However, it was an EMF reader. That's an expensive EVP recorder. I looked up the prices after to see what.
Yeah. When you told me you thought he threw his or he checked his recorder, I was like, oh.
The one I always use here. It's just a Sony. I think it's a Sony IC recorder. I think I got it when I first started ghost hunting. I think it was like $40 or something. I like it because it has a little USB right on it. You just plug it right into the computer, makes things simple. But
Yeah.
I've had incredible luck with this one. And I'm not superstitious or anything like that. I don't know if that's the right word, but I bought 3 other ones, exact same models, and I've used them, and I have not gotten as much EVPs as I got on this one. So this is my go-to. And I could throw this one, I'd be upset, but I wouldn't be broke.
Yeah. No, you have to send that to me still, what it's called, because I want to get the same model and see if I have any better luck.
Yeah.
The other thing that's really important for anyone who is just starting out in the paranormal investigating, dipping your toes into the paranormal pool, which I love, is that you brought your what's it called? Jewel speaker? What's it called?
Oh, my JBL.
Like a little portable speaker, and because that made it, we'd get the recording and then we would just lay on the floor in the dark and listen back. Right there and then.
Right. Yeah, that was Brittany. She said we had other recorders running the same time as that one. So I've investigated with Brittany before, especially at White Hill. We've had this recorder running with other ones, and we've caught more on this one. So I don't know what it is. So it's my lucky one, I guess.
So then, after that recording, we headed to the basement to try some Estes. Now, we do have a long clip that we're not going to play all the clip on, but in the coming week, follow us on TikTok, and we will have the whole clip unedited. This clip's still decent. It's a couple minutes long. I just cut up some parts where maybe the answers didn't really line up, but there was some serious, like, straight answers, immediate answers. Do a little setup here. This house was once an orphanage, a place where autistic kids were sent when they didn't have their parents, and even some troubled teens. They went to live there. A few people have died in the house. Most of them were the homeowners. However, there was either a suicide or accidental death by a child or a teenager that did take place in the house as well. In the basement, when you go in there, the room we're in, it's painted with different color floors and primary colors, which was interesting when we went. And Boston has had this experience at other places. And I believe you've talked about this before. I mean, I can talk about this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes Boston will hear something nobody else hears without a headphone on or something. And it will sometimes confuse her because I was standing behind her and we were talking about the colors of the walls, and you said primary color. Those are the primary colors. And then immediately turned and looked at me and was like, no, why'd you say no? So I assume you heard the word no in your head.
Yeah, so this was when we were, well, not in my head. It didn't feel like it was in my head. There's a difference because sometimes I do pick up certain words or things in my head where I know like it's like it's my own thought that someone else's.
Like an internal monologue almost?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then sometimes it's actual audio. And this was when at the part of the night when Carlos was still there with us. It was right before he left, and he was giving us the walking tour of the house. And so he said, "Yeah, these colors down here, it's a little weird. It's like maybe did they have the kids hanging out down in this room?" And I said, "Yeah, because it's primary colors." And then it was almost like this vibe I got was like you were kind of trying to whisper and also be like, "Boston, you're such a dumbass. Like those aren't the primary colors." It was like, no, like you were trying to tell me without Carlo hearing, you call me out for being dumb. Like that.
Something
And
I
so I
would do.
turned to you and I was like, no, like, am I wrong? It was clear as day. And it was right, you were standing right behind me and I heard it behind me.
Yeah, and I heard nothing and said nothing. And we'll put this trigger warning up because in this EVP session there is some talk that may trigger some people. Boston, that's interesting. I had that happen when Rob was in the closet with the doll. I kept hearing Carrie, and he asked what its name was on the EVP. It said Carrie.
Yeah, I get that a lot, Sam, especially during EVP sessions where someone's asking the question into the recorder and I'm getting the answer in my head right away. And then when we play the recorder back, if something's caught, sometimes what I had in my head is on the recorder. I don't know what the hell that means.
It's interesting too, Boston, how you only heard it, no one else in the room heard it. Because
yeah, you were right there. It was the three of us standing like super close.
In my experience, especially because I'm at Whitehill a lot, people have heard disembodied. It's happened to me a couple times where you hear almost a disembodied voice, but you can be in the same room and half the room doesn't hear it, and some of the people do, and it makes. I still can't figure it out. It makes no sense, but what you're saying does make sense because I've seen it happen before. I don't know if whoever, maybe that spirit is more can focus in on one person to hear it, or is it just people? Some people are more predisposed to hearing it. I don't know, but it has happened before, and I've witnessed it. It's crazy, just like it happened that night. We were all looking at each other like, "What are you talking about?"
Well, I was even mad because I thought you were lying to me at first when you were like, "I didn't say anything," and I was like.
Yeah, I know. You looked at me like you were pissed off, and I'm like, great, here we go again. Another fucking car ride. So, for anybody watching that may not know, hey, what's up, OG?
Hey, yes, it is. OG.
So, for anyone that might not know what the Estes method is, it's where one person sits listening to a spirit box. Spirit box is a radio shuffler. Just goes through AM stations, a lot of static. Every now and then you do hear like an ad or part of a song play. But as it shuffles through really quick, a voice from a spirit around you may seep into it, and if you can catch it. So while the one person's listening on those headphones and blindfolded, there's other people either in a different room or far away talking at a volume that they can't hear what is being said. And if you do it correct and things work out, you'll get answers that line up with the questions you asked. I usually, when I do this, I prefer separate rooms. However, we were all very tired. And we were scared. Boston was scared. We were spaced, though, a very good distance away, and those headphones I can vouch for were incredibly loud because I heard nothing but ringing for the rest of the night. So let's go to the clip and then we can discuss what all happened on it.
Can you hold that?
What?
Hold this.
Oh. You're afraid of me?
Who are we talking to? Who is me?
Kris Smith.
Do you want to talk to Kris?
Hey.
Hey, How are you?
It's me.
It is you.
What's up?
How old are you?
You know. You'll see him.
What's his name?
You. Whisper. Whisper.
I think she's.
Did you just touch my friend's knee?
Excuse me. Was that them?
You don't have to be scared. Who are we talking to? It's Kyle and Kris here.
Ask him.
How many of you are down here right now with us?
How old are you?
I am 40. How old are you?
He's old.
That's.
Hey,
Shh. Whisper.
that's not very nice. I'm still pretty young. How old are you?
9.
Wow, that's a great age. What's your favorite game?
On the porch.
You like to be on the porch? What's your favorite game to play out there?
I mean it. Young.
Yeah,
I'm touching her.
you are. Did you touch her knee like I asked you to? Do me a favor, hold her hand.
I died from suicide.
Give her a couple more minutes.
So,
That was clear as day.
She's back.
My death.
it was a gunshot?
Oh man.
Okay. I know that's a lot of sadness. Can you tell me your name? I know your name, but I want to hear you
I'm
say it.
sorry.
Don't be sorry. You have nothing to be sorry about.
Didn't mean it. Didn't mean it.
It was a mistake.
Shh. Whisper. Don't cry.
Do you have friends here comforting you?
Shh. Whisper. Who is that?
Say my name.
Okay.
Can you tell me who I'm pointing at?
He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some great comments. Oh, this is so cool.
So
It's such a fun method. There was so much. Hey, just me. So many things that happened in that one session, and if you follow us on TikTok, we will have the whole unedited clip on there. Things that happened at the time didn't make sense to me. Maybe I wasn't listening or thinking about the questions I was asking. It wasn't until we went back and listened together where it was like, they were straight up answering us. The whole when I said, "Who is me?" and you immediately said Kris Smith. I didn't think about that. I was asking a question like referring to who they were, but if you think about it, I was like, who am I? And maybe to a kid or a child, they didn't understand that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris, because I was the same way. Like, I didn't take it in that context when we were there, but watching it back now, I'm like, oh shit, they're answering you. Like,
Yeah.
I just thought they were saying your name. Like, I didn't make the connection at the time, which makes it even more valid. And it's even great too because we have it on video where when you first went under Boston, I was trying to hand you that recorder and I was talking to you, or not the recorder, the spirit box. I was trying to talk to you and you didn't even hear me. So
Yeah,
it was
no,
working.
they were.
You couldn't hear me right next to you, so no one can say like, "Oh, maybe they heard."
And I didn't realize how quickly I went under either until I watched it back.
So can we talk about some, because some people at home that are new to the Estes stuff or learning this, can you describe what going under means?
So I think I started using the term because I had heard some other people describe it, and that it's like the best way for me to explain it. It's for me when I do it, it's not just like listening and trying to repeat words out loud that I'm catching or hearing. I kind of go into like a meditation, and I can almost kind of see and feel and hear multiple. It's usually not just one at a time. This one was a little different though. And usually when I come out or up out of it, I don't remember everything that happened. Like I'll remember bits and pieces. And especially with this one, there was a lot I didn't remember, and we listened to it back out on the porch afterwards, and I got the chills because what I do remember is very specifically there was a little girl, and that was the wisp. She was like telling people to be quiet. And I don't know, and I'm pretty sure she was telling you guys to be quiet. Like that's the vibe I got, was like she didn't want you guys to like whisper. Like,
so here's my theory on that, right? It was getting late at night. This house is known about having a woman that used to look over these kids that would get irritated and impatient. And to me, these kids were having fun in the basement playing, and we were being loud, which they were then afraid she would hear, and they would have to go to sleep. Because what's interesting about this house is about 11:30 midnight, the activity like stops.
Yeah.
The vibe in the house changes, all the energy. It's like they're in a pattern, a routine, they go to bed. And that's why I think the kid was saying whisper.
And that was a little girl, and I don't know her age, but she seemed pretty young. And then there was a little boy who was maybe around her age. I don't really remember what he said, and I remember watching it back, obviously. And then I felt a for sure teenager. And what's weird is I remember, because afterwards you had said something to me about like, oh, maybe that was the accidental, death or the possible suicide that had happened in the house that we had heard about. And I remember saying, and I still kind of feel that way, that no, that this felt like a teenager from like the 90s. I don't know why I got that vibe, but it was maybe just his voice and like the way he was talking, like, yo, like.
Which is interesting because when you look at the whole thing, I felt like I was talking to about 3 different people. We have the little girl with the whisper, who I think she was also talking to another kid, probably her age. But at the beginning, after you said my name, the tone changed, and you said, "Yo, what's up? It's me."
Yeah.
I have some theories on who we might have been talking to. I felt like it was a personally related to me in some way. So I don't think that was in the house. But it was very interesting to hear. And for those of you that haven't done it, this doesn't happen in all Estes sessions, but when I was doing it, I felt people crowding around me, and I had to ask Kyle in Boston if it was them getting close to me, because you can feel with your feet on the concrete if somebody's walking on it, you feel the vibration. And I could feel just feet walking all around me and getting close, and people leaning in closer. And it got overwhelming at one part. If I don't have my clip on there because my stuff really wasn't cohesive, but it really lost my train of thought.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's usually what I experience when I do the Estes method, is in a lot of voices, like so many people trying to communicate and like trying to grab one word here or there. This felt different than anyone I've ever done before, because it was very clearly three to me. When I came out from it, you also agreed that it felt like there was three. And I did get touched on my knee, but I could feel like there was three people walking in a circle around me. And again, just kind of like that presence, like you know when you feel like someone's watching you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. But yeah, this was different than a lot of. Typically, the Estes method for me is very overwhelming and very like a bunch of different voices and stuff. And for some reason, I sat down and went under really quickly and got very specific. And like you pointed out, I listened back. When I was talking, I wasn't even aware of really what I was saying. When I listened back to it, you can hear my voice change.
And I believe it's on the clip, on the part that was edited out. At one point, you say, "I'm scared." And then your voice kind of changes, and so does your tone. And you say, "Exit, you are scared." As if this is like the kid controlling the room, telling the other one, "You need to go now. You are scared. Get out of here. I got this." Again, follow us on TikTok. Like how I keep plugging that. I need to have like a little banner.
Well,
up
we're gonna
like a ticker.
do the whole unedited clip, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see all of that.
And it's interesting too, because I've seen and done a lot of Estes method. Not like when I go down under Estes method, it takes me a while, like till I start getting words. And other people like Boston, there's a couple other too. Rob is another good one. As soon as they put that, they just go immediately right in. And it's pretty cool to see. And a lot of the times when we're doing it, and I kind of picked up a little time when you were doing it that night, Boston, where it seems like you're listening to spirits talk to each other. And there was a couple points where I thought, we're actually just listening to other people talk, and then they're talking to us. Like, it was cool to me because, like you said, I picked up 3 individual people too, but I think maybe at least 2 of them were talking to each other, and then they would talk to us. It was really, you don't see that a lot in Estes, where you have a couple spirits and they're intelligently working together and intelligent responding like that. All those pieces of the puzzle usually aren't in an Estes method. Usually you'll get one intelligent spirit and maybe you'll hear, chatter or what sounds like chatter between 2 different spirits. Right. But we had pretty much all of it. And that was how long was that session?
I think it was, about 8 minutes long. And to back on what Kyle was just talking about, when right before they asked my age or made fun of how old I was, they said, the one said, "Is that them?" And then says, "Ask them," as if they were like talking to each other, like, "No, you do it. No, you do it." And then they freaking clown on me for a second and call me old. Like, what the heck is that?
That's another really good point you brought up too, because if they were like, "Is that them?" They obviously either saw us or heard us. They acknowledged us to get like, "Hey, is that them?" So that's another really cool, super intelligent response. Like, now that I think about it, I can picture in my head like you're just sitting there and there's 3 people pointing at me and Kris going, "Is that them?"
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Or like somebody, one of the, maybe the older kid or somebody like called them in the room.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, hey,
and
come
then
here, look what's
is that
going on.
them? Like, I have a question. Like, what do you ask?
And there's
How
a
old are you?
theory out there too, and I kind of believe it too, that the more a place gets investigated over time, the more the spirits learn how to communicate. And especially in a case like this, where it's newly on the market, it probably hasn't been investigated all that much. When people come in there, they're like, "Ooh, someone's new here. Let's go communicate." So it's really cool.
This is my new favorite person.
Sam. I love Sam.
That was a really great session. Like,
yeah, I wasn't expecting that either because I was before we went down there. I was convinced that this was going to be the moment that Kris got payback for.
Yeah, you kept saying that. You didn't want.
He's been telling
me. I am saving that moment, Boston. It's going to have to be pretty bad for me to ditch you. So for the few people that may not know, we were in the Conjuring house last August, and I was in a little crawl space talking to what I thought was a ghost of a child. And I asked Boston to take some pictures because we thought he was standing behind me. And while taking the picture, something came between myself and Boston, and she freaked and she took off with the light and left me in the corner, not knowing what she saw. Payback will be a bitch. It wasn't going to come then, but it will.
It was really terrifying.
No, it was going to come then, Boston, because...
And I thought you were right behind me.
You thought it was going to come that night. You kept saying, "Don't leave me, don't leave me."
I kept saying, "Don't leave me."
That's when
she wanted it to. She wanted to get it over with.
It's when you least suspect it, Boston.
Yeah.
That's when it's going to happen. That's when the viper will strike.
I just figured me being blinded and with the headphones on would have been a perfect opportunity, and I was really scared.
But it was down there. I have to give you a lot of credit because you were legitimately scared, and like when Kyle's scared, he doesn't do it. Like he just doesn't do it. So you stepped up to the plate and made it happen.
Thank you. And you know what's weird is afterwards.
What's up, Holly?
That after being Holly, after being in that, again, I don't know how to describe it other than kind of like a meditated state. I told you guys like I'm not scared anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's the best way.
Until someone was like, "Hey, want to try scrying?"
Oh God!
So that leads us to the next section. Did you have any more on this you wanted to talk about, Kyle?
No, we're good.
So after we did the Estes session, we were all pretty much spent at this point, and we were like, "Hey, there is a scrying room." Now, the last time I was there with Sarah from Paranormally Blonde, I got to scry for the first time. And my experience terrified me. And the reason why I didn't do it that night was because I knew that I had to sleep in the house after. And I did not want to see what I saw when I was there last time. And what happened to me was I was sitting there and scrying. It's not really a mirror, if I'm not mistaken. It gives you a reflection. However, it's black behind glass, like black plastic behind glass. So you do see a reflection. You have 3 candles around you, in front of you, and all the lights are off. We put a REM pod in the closet, and the closet door was shut next to me. And so I'm sitting there, I'm staring at the mirror, and it got to the point where I kept seeing my face morphing. It then got to the point where I could physically move my hands, lift up my arms, but yet I was sitting with my arms crossed in the mirror, not moving at all. And then I started seeing behind me, there was some curtains closed, and there was just a slit of light coming through from the outside. and I saw a person pacing back and forth. I couldn't make out their figure, but I saw them pacing. And I asked if that person could please go into the closet and set off the machine that we had in the closet. At which point, out of the darkness, I saw a extremely pale woman with a bun for hair, all white, just stomp out and come towards me. I did overreact. I fell on the ground and yelled. Sarah, when she came out pacing, you heard stomp, stomp, stomp on the ground, like it was audible. Sarah jumped up and said, "Let me get the lights," and she flipped the lights on. And as she flipped the lights on, the closet door was just finishing swinging open. It terrified the shit out of me. So now let's fast forward to us here, and I suggested that Boston should try it. So Boston,
Thanks,
why don't you talk
because we
about
were spending
your
the night and I had to sleep there.
Yeah.
So I was scared because I had heard Chris's story, right? So I like knew that there was the potential for something to really scare me. And the boys, Kyle and Kris, were both very close to me, sitting against the wall. Thank you. I mean,
I was very, very comfortable, by the way. At this point, I was completely exhausted. So Kyle was very comfortably laying on the nice, soft carpeted floor. So
yeah, I believe you were possibly asleep.
I was coherent, I think, for most of it. I remember bits and pieces of it.
Yeah. So I think you guys started were you guys doing an EVP session while I was crying?
Yes. Yeah, you wanted us to do an EVP session and ask questions. So
yeah. And I was just looking into the mirror, and pretty immediately you start, your face starts to kind of morph. And that could, in my mind, I was just like, this could just be a trick of the eye and my mind playing tricks on me, and the lights, the candles in the mirror. But it started getting pretty creepy. I saw a pretty vivid face of a man, an older man with like big bushy eyebrows, and that creeped me out a little bit. And so then that happened and I look away. So I broke away a lot. I think right after that happened, I was like, no. And then I got brave, started looking again. I'm trying to remember the order of things, because I know at one point I was like, I'm not going to look straight at my face anymore. I'm going to look down a little bit. Maybe that'll make me feel better. And I felt a woman to the right of me, like leaning on the chair, and then these two kids like kneeling, and I could actually feel it on my legs on either side, kneeling on the floor, and like this, resting their elbows on my legs. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did I describe that?
So like in the reflection, you saw like the back of their...
I felt it physically.
Uh-huh.
And then, yes, in the reflection, I could see the back of their heads.
Gotcha.
Down by my knees, like they were looking at me.
And I think at one point too, didn't you saw somebody pacing behind you
then
too? I don't remember if that was earlier.
That was at the end.
That was at the end, because then that started, and I saw the back and forth, and I don't know if it was the feeling, because I never got like a good. It wasn't like a full on person. You just could see like in between the blinds, like the light shining through, and then you could see like a person-sized shadow, like the top of it, storming back and forth, like pacing back and forth. And I got the feeling of like very, very frustrated. And then when I saw that, I tried to be a little brave and like keep looking. And then again, from hearing your story, I don't want to see anything charging at me. So I was like, all right, I'm done. I picked up a name too. I don't know if that means anything, but you started asking, I believe Kyle was asking me questions about like what I was feeling, about what was next to me.
Yeah.
And I started just answering female, Caroline or Caroline.
Yeah, I remember you said you sent someone next to you, and then I started
Mhm.
asking questions like, is it a male or female? And I tried to describe her, and you couldn't really see her face or describe, but you came up with that name.
Mhm.
Yeah, I couldn't see because I wasn't. I feel like I would have had to move my eyes to look and clearly see.
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to.
So it was almost like you saw them out of your peripheral vision then.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same with the little kids. I believe they were girls. Same with the little kids down by my knees. I could see the back of their heads, and I remember being like, I don't want to stare too long because I don't want to. I was really creeped out. I didn't enjoy it. I would like to give it another try.
It was
I
a
want to
very
talk to Bill.
uncomfortable feeling in that room during that. I mean, I was even like, this could go any way right now. Like, I didn't feel a danger, but it was uncomfortable. Like, almost like, okay, enough, wrap it up kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, okay, that's probably when the pacing started.
Mm-hmm. At which point we wrapped up the night.
Sure did.
Yeah. No, we tried.
Oh, we went to one other. I forgot. We went into one more room, but we got nothing.
I think we fell. I think at that point we were all starting to fall asleep.
Yeah, exhaustion seriously set in. Yeah. We were delirious. Remember, it was a kid's room and it was full of toys, and Boston tried to play this little kid's like piano thing or keyboard. Yeah. It got stupid quick.
And then I rolled a ball into the dark hallway.
Hoping
and then Kris was like, "Oh, look!" And
I remember that. You guys
and I was like, oh my gosh. And we both saw it. And Kyle's like, what are you guys seeing? And like leaned over to see it. And then before we got too excited, it was like, I'm just gonna put my flashlight on real quick. And I put the flashlight on, and it's what was it? Like
it was like it was something on the wall in the hall.
It looked like the exact height of like a kid, you know, like just standing in the hallway staring at us.
I was sitting there not being able to see what they're seeing, and these two are describing like the world's greatest shadow person in such detail. They're like, "Oh my god, it's peeking at you! You can see its shoulders, its head," and I'm like, "What is going on?" And I go over there and like, "Oh, sorry, it's just something on the wall." I'm like, "God damn!"
We were tired.
We were building it up so hard.
It looked so clear. It was so clear.
It was very
Thursday. And maybe it's because it was a built-in cabinet in the wall.
Yeah, and I'm like,
but it was clear as day, man.
I think it's time for bed.
Yeah. And then
oh my god.
And then bedtime.
That was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
So needless to say, someone had to use the little girl's room in the middle of the night and didn't want to go alone.
Needless to say, I wouldn't have had to use the little girl's room in the middle of the night if it wasn't for this one waking me up with the most startling snore I've ever heard in my life. It sounded like somebody screaming.
Yes, and we all shared the same room because none of us wanted to sleep in our own room.
Yep. It was great because at that point, I don't know.
Yes, it was.
Wake me up, Austin. I think you woke me up, right?
No, I think he woke you up, or you were still awake. Because then, right after I woke up, I was like trying to catch my breath because I was so scared. And then I heard moving around on your air mattress, and so I was like, fingers crossed. That means Kyle's up. So I was like, Kyle, and then you were like, yes. I was like, I have to go to the bathroom.
That's exactly
Will you go to the bathroom with me?
So Boston also locked the bedroom door just in case a ghost couldn't get in.
I was
or
sleeping next to the door.
I told you I would sleep next to the door, and you're like, "No, I'm good with this bed." And then
my bed was more.
And so I was fine not sleeping next to the haunted door, but she locked the door. So now these two are fumbling around in the dark, trying to unlock the door and get it open. I forget where the fuck I'm at. And I wake up and I just see these two with a flashlight, like standing like right by me, staring at me. And I was like, "The fuck's going on, guys? What's going on? Where am I?" I'm tripping out.
I remember the door was stuck. I was half asleep. I didn't have my glasses. She's like, I have to pee. And I'm like, I can't get the fucking door open. And then Kris is over on the bed freaking out. And I remember hearing him and just not even register.
Yeah,
I don't think either of us answered
Nobody fucking answered me.
I think
you
we
guys
just
just
looked at it.
turned and looked at me and then looked back at the door, and I'm like, and then I put my sleeping bag back over my head and turned around and went back to sleep.
Yeah, your
That
nice
was-
sleeping bag that I was so jealous of.
Bill, you are correct. You did do that to me. There was a
Yes.
couple of times.
No, Bill, you just came into the room and just stared at people and started
No.
talking.
Bill saw me up because I happened to be going to the bathroom. I had my flashlight, and Bill came in. Bill was in the servants' quarters and had to come through our room to go to the bathroom. And so I happened to be up to go to the bathroom at the same time. And Bill was like, "Oh, hey, I thought everyone was asleep." And I was like, "I think they are."
And I remember he was standing at the foot of my mattress because that's where you had to go to the bathroom to pass through the bathroom. And I remember I abruptly woke up because I heard someone talking and I didn't have my glasses on again. And I'm just staring at Bill and he's looking back at me because I thought it was Kris because I couldn't see it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I saw his long beard. I'm like, it's Bill. And I just went back to sleep.
Yeah, I think Bill was being nice and because there's 2 bathrooms and was probably waiting to see where I was going. But
Experience sleeping on that air mattress for 3
Yeah.
days was an
yeah, we
experience.
all slept in the same room for 4 nights. Was that 4 nights? Or
It felt
5 nights?
like 2 weeks, Boston. I'm
felt
not
like
gonna lie. Felt like almost like
And I learned that
prison
I
camp
snore.
towards the end.
I snore as well, so I can't make fun of Chris's, but Chris's gets scary.
But I'm not gonna lie, Kris. When I first woke up and I, squinted, I saw Boston's face. There was a little bit of anger. Like if I didn't wake up, she might have offed you right there.
Yeah, she would have suffocated me.
Yeah,
I think she had been thinking about it.
I
was
saw
angry.
that in her eyes. She it's like almost like I caught her in the act. She was like, "Okay, I won't do it because you're awake."
I gotta pee.
Well, I wouldn't have woken up to pee if I could have slept through the night and then just woke up in the morning and had to go
Or you
pee.
could have went
But
back to sleep.
Okay,
I couldn't because when you wake up and you have to pee
Personal
that bad.
problem. That's a personal problem.
after the 2 large iced coffees you had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, those are the gross iced coffees from Ohio.
You still had them though. Still had them.
Nobody drink iced coffee from Ohio or from Dunks. Sorry,
Ohio.
I shouldn't say all.
Ohio.
If you're
The
ever in
whole
Ohio,
Hey, don't
stay away
drink.
from Dunkin' Donuts.
Um,
Trust me.
So that was our adventure. It was a great time. I know we
Just-
joke around about stuff, but
Yeah.
it was still a fun time. I can't wait to go back to Bihl Manor and actually film some more stuff, see if we get some continuing stuff. I'm excited about it. I don't know when that will be, but hopefully soon.
Well, and everybody, do we have a link to his website?
He's
Make
on,
bookings?
he's on Facebook too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his website you can make bookings too. What's
Yeah,
that?
go-
Look
go
for
check
that real
that
quick
place
and
out.
drop it in
Marlo-
chat because
Marlo is a great host.
Yeah.
He's a paranormal investigator too. He gets it. It's a really awesome house, and I'm telling you, it was me going in. Like I knew a little bit of Kris's experiences, but when I went in there, I was like, wow. I was literally shocked by the amount of activity we had in that short time period. Like, take away the EVP and your Estes session, we still had some crazy stuff.
Mhm. No, we did.
It's
Again,
crazy.
the sightings in the bathroom that you and I had, there we go. Thank you, Kris.
Mhm.
It was a crazy night, and I think sorry, what?
The Phantom Kris upstairs making all
The
that
Phantom
noise.
Kris. I think if we were less tired, we probably could have gotten more. As far as evidence goes.
Yeah.
But you're right. There is a certain time in the evening where it's just kind of like, all right, kids have to be quiet now.
But I will say, for being a paranormal investigator for a while here, that was a lot of evidence in a short amount of time, being exhausted. So there's something to be said there. That place is legit.
Yeah.
Stamp of approval. Haunted.
Yeah. So go to hauntedbillmanor.com. Check them out. Follow them on Facebook. Very reasonably priced. If you're new to this and kind of want to dip your toes in, good location for less than $300 if you stay the night. I mean, there was 3 of us, and we each only had to pay $85 each.
Yeah.
So that was
And
pretty
it's a
damn good.
beautiful. It's a
Oh,
beautiful
it's
property.
yeah.
It's gorgeous. And he's working on renovating it, so every penny helps to keep it not renovating, but like restoring it.
Yeah, restoring, updating,
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is clearly just a recap of one of our road trips, which in the future we would like to for sure make sure that we get footage to share with you guys from our road trips. This road trip was a little different than we had anticipated, I think, just because of the length of time that we had to travel and the amount of work we had to put on for Girls versus Boys, which was an amazing event. And for the official recap of Girls versus Boys, catch myself, Kris, Kyle, and all of the Get Haunted crew over at Paranormally Blonde on Monday. I'm not sure we have a time left in yet, do we?
Probably Monday at 7.
Probably at 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, just Paranormally Blonde.
Yeah, go like and follow Paranormally Blonde, Get Haunted. We've got awesome events coming up.
And like and follow us, please.
Yeah. Can you like us?
Yeah, please.
You
Boston
like
is starting to get a complex.
I'm
Yeah,
very
like-
complex.
Like me and Kris, if you want, you can like Boston too. It's fine.
So with that, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We enjoy being here. Follow us next Wednesday.
Next
Yeah.
Wednesday.
We will be live, and I don't know what we're going to do yet. Maybe some fun trivia. We haven't done trivia in a while.
Game night. Yeah.
We need a game night. All right, next Wednesday, game night.
All right. let's do it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right,
Sweet.
everybody, take it easy. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
Good night.